Hey everyone, it's Anson here from Weekend Garage. Today I'll be showing you guys things to look out for when considering purchasing a Cls W219 from the years 2003 all the way up to 2011. So first off, we're going to start off with the more expensive things to look out for in the engine bay, and then we'll go in the interior, and last but not least, the trunk and the drivetrain. So first off, let me open up the hood for you guys. So since these cars are coming down in price, you see it all over Facebook Marketplace and used car lots. It's very attractive to be purchasing based on the price, but you got to look out for these certain things so it doesn't bite you after you make the purchase. So first off, this is the V8 model. There's also a V6 model in this series and a V8 supercharged model. This is a CLS 500. There's 550s, there's 63s, and a 55 and a 320, I believe. So when looking at the engine bay, if you have the V8, first off, we're going to be looking for the basic issues. If you look down here, the basic issues as in leaks, if you look on the bottom there, if there are leaks, you will be able to spot it on the bottom. Common issues with this engine. So there's three main gaskets you guys got to worry about. The oil cooler gasket and the two valve cover gaskets. These are easily replaced and shouldn't be a big challenge. And also the serpentine belt. If it's worn down, you can see just on a visual inspection, you can adjust the pricing or step away from that vehicle if all of these issues are present. You guys can also check the hydraulic steering fluid down here. You can open it, make sure you check the dipstick, that the fluid is green and not dark brown. Dark brown means it's burnt out. Green means that it is fresh. Since this is a 2006 model, there's a pump called the SBC module, which is right here. You can see it. If yours says SBC, your vehicle has it as well. It's a technology used in Maybachs, McLarens, the SLR and such during these periods, and the SLs.
The pump motor, the high pressure reservoir, the hydraulic valves, the pressure sensors, and the SBC microcomputer.
It's pretty much a braking system that was ahead of its time. That's no longer in use. However, there's still warranty for it in some areas in the world. It keeps a constant pressure on the brake system as opposed to having a master cylinder and pump over there. You guys can look it up. It's very cool. The brake fluid reservoir is still located under there, so you guys can check the fluid in there. So these engines, this is a 5-liter V8. These are bulletproof in the Mercedes world, besides oil leaks. We all know that they leak, but other than that, with the proper oil change and the spark plug changes and maintenance and the air filters, they'll run forever. And when it comes time to servicing it, such as changing the gaskets and replacing the spark plugs, it's very easy because this hood will bend all the way to 90 degrees. So when it bends 90 degrees, and with this ample room in the engine bay, it'll make servicing very easy and doable at home. There's lots of guides and aftermarket parts for the series, as they share the same parts as the E-Class. And Asia and other parts of the world offers countless amount of aftermarket parts because there's still so many on the road as of today. So if you guys are able to do some of the work yourself, don't worry. This is an extremely easy engine to work on, as opposed to the modern day engines, which are extremely compact and pushed all the way back. So these are the basic things to look for in the engine bay. We're gonna close that up and move on. So when you're looking at a vehicle, you wanna make sure the bottom trim here, there's no scratches, as this is on a air suspension. People that park all the time in parking lots, they drive all the way up to the curb and they scrape the bottom. And up on that, there's crappy repair jobs that pull off the whole grill. You ain't gonna notice until you take a look up close. There's poor Bondo jobs I've seen on countless vehicles that after it grabs onto the parking lip, it gets ripped off and they take it to some random shop and they just spray can it. It looks terrible and you won't know till you look at it up close. So this vehicle is equipped with the HID by Xenon headlights. You want to make sure you get that, as it has AFS, which is automatic leveling and turning as you drive, which is pretty cool for the year. They also have a headlight washer. You want to make sure these functions work. We'll go over that when we go in the vehicle. There's parking sensors. We want to make sure that's working. Side markers, fog lights, and also the jets on this vehicle, they're heated. So in the wintertime, the hose and the coolant tank, they're all heated. So when you're spraying windshield water fluid, it actually comes out hot and it might smoke. And it also makes the cleaning of the window much easier. These are just little things that Mercedes has thought of that no other brand has. So we want to make sure the indicators are working, all the basic things to check. But once we get into the vehicle, to prevent buying a vehicle with odometer fraud, you want to make sure the interior matches up with the amount of kilometers it has. If it's showing 150,000, but your interior is beat and worn down, that should be a huge red flag and you should step away from the vehicle. So once you get to the interior of the vehicle, when you open and close the door check, when you're opening and closing it, if it's making a cracking noise, you know that has to be replaced. That's a couple $100 right there. When it comes to the interior of the vehicle, what you want to look at is the wear and tear on the wheel itself. If it's peeling off or if it's turning white and the kilometers are showing very low, you know it's probably been rolled back. So stay away from those. The interior shouldn't have much wear. As you can see, this vehicle has about 160K on it. Take a look at the interior. It still looks brand new. So if there's holes in your seat and it's fading, or if you can see the cushion coming out, it's definitely not the kilometer it's listing. Because if we look at the back seats here, it's pretty much brand new. Take a look at the back. The seats don't even have a wrinkle in there. And this is a vehicle that's almost 20 years old at this time of filming. Everything still works perfectly. Make sure when you're in the vehicle, check all 4 windows, check the tailgate release button down here, and the adjustable seats, because even the headrest is adjustable. You want to make sure all the things work because they add up quickly if you are purchasing a vehicle of this caliber. And a common error or a common problem with these vehicles is this lock right here on any of the doors. When you press the lock button or when it does auto lock, it'll start jumping up and down like a machine gun. So that's going to be easy fix, but look out for that. Check all 4 doors, lock and unlock, make sure it doesn't do the jump. So when it comes to the rear of the vehicle, there are common leaks with this class of vehicle. One is being under this chrome trim. Another is being on this drainage right here. There's a antenna, that shark fin antenna right there. There's a line that runs on the side down here and under this cover. So that gasket that forms here all the way to the inside, it runs all the way down to the side here. If you take a look, that's where the DVD player, the navigation, and all the major system for the tele-aid and the emergency SOS button are housed in there. So when the water leaks down here and it follows the wire, it'll short out the system and cause many errors in the vehicle, such as your radio shorting out, making a popping noise and shutting down, or your SOS button not working, your navigation not working, and many other errors that can be fixed with this leak back here. So how to check if yours has been leaking before? First off, you can check the inside of the vehicle, see if there's any errors on the dash, or play the radio for a bit. If it makes a popping noise, it's probably shorted back here. And also you can look in the back there through those holes. If there's rust in those holes, that means there's been a leak in here for some time. Make sure the carpets are not damp. If it's a summer area that you're in, it's going to be a little bit harder. But if there's ever been water intrusion inside, you'll still be able to spot the orange rust on the back of the vehicle. You can also open the side panel here, this carpet, and you can take a look at the electronics or if there's any watermarks sitting on the bottom here. So when you're inside the vehicle, we want to make sure the sunroof works. All the buttons, you want to test that. All the radio controls, that's just common. You guys should know to test that. Also, make sure you guys test the Parktronic system. Sometimes errors come from that. They just go off for no reason or they don't work. It would be best if you guys had an OBD reader that you can read the codes from the vehicle. If there's any outstanding codes, that way you can see things that aren't visible to the naked eye. So when it comes to the exterior of the vehicle, when you guys are opening and closing the door, since these are frameless windows, they'll crack down a little bit every time you open and close the door. There'll be a rattle sometimes on the front 2 doors as you open and close. That's because the screw that holds the glass onto the regulator becomes loose. So when it comes to the back door, you can tell the difference when you guys are checking out your car. It's much more solid compared to the front. Just a heads up for you guys, that can be addressed. That's not a breaking point in deciding if this is a good car or not. You want to make sure you go to every door, open up the door, and that it'll crack down for all 4 sides. If it doesn't, it's a cheap fix because there's lots of aftermarket parts and it's easy to take apart, being that is a German-made vehicle. There's lots of guides online on how to replace that, so don't worry about it if your window doesn't work. So this vehicle is equipped with the aromatic system. You want to make sure you test all 3 heights from the bottom, and also the front lift, which is very useful as this car is quite low compared to other vehicles of its class. Don't be scared of the aromatic system. It rides amazing. I would not buy this car without the aromatic system. That's what makes this car very cool and unique and riding the way it should. It's extremely quiet inside and it rides better than 99% of the cars that are out today, unless they're aromatic as well. When it comes down to testing the drivability, you want to go at low speeds, max out the steering wheel, and go in the parking lot. If there's an issue with the ball joints or the control arms, you're going to hear the creak and such only at low speeds. With the air suspension, you can raise it to the max setting, use a flashlight, and inspect inside. But usually it's very reliable. From what I've seen, I've had this car for 14 years, had to replace it one time. Other than that, it's been perfect. The most expensive repair for this vehicle is the TCM, which is a transmission control module. If that's been serviced previously on the 7G transmission, which these vehicles are equipped with. So overall, this vehicle has been a pleasure to own. I've had it for over 14 years. There's been no catastrophic damage or errors, or it's never left me stranded on the side of the road. If you guys are thinking about purchasing it, I would say go ahead, because there's so many aftermarket parts and forums that support this vehicle nowadays. Just don't purchase the cheapest vehicle on the market, because you're going to get a load of errors with that. Look for ones that have been taken care of. That's not limo tinted all the way around, that you can clearly tell it's abused, or if it's straight piped, or even all the headlights and taillights are tinted with stickers all over it. Look for a clean car that'll last for many years to come. If you guys are thinking of pulling the trigger on this, I would say go ahead. So that's it for today's video. Let me know if you guys got any questions. You can leave them down in the comments below. Thank you for watching and hope you have a wonderful day. See you on the next one.